I would just like to mention how incredibly honored and full of emotion I am to be standing before you all tonight. My friends, my classmates, my family, and my academic adjudicators. I would like to thank each and every one of you for helping me transform into the person that stands before you all tonight. Now, before I begin, I was asked to point out that in the case of an emergency, the exits are located on either side of the stage, and if my speech happens to crash, your seats double as flotation devices. Fellow graduates, for the last 12 years of our lives, your faculty, friends, and family have been there for every breath that you take, every move that you make, and every step that you take. In fact, they're up there right now with their little cameras watching you, capturing every moment of right now. 12 years ago, with my Little Mermaid backpack and matching lunchbox, my little 5-year-old life was opened up to a whole new world. New faces, unfamiliar places, and that weird smell coming from the cafeteria. At that age, I had no idea what was ahead of me. I had no idea that 12 years down the road, I would be delivering a speech on graduation day. I also had no idea that the smell of cafeteria never actually washes out of your clothes, no matter how many dryer sheets you stick in the dryer. Looking back on those days, I realize now that the sole purpose of elementary school wasn't to learn cursive or your multiplication tables. Elementary school taught me that flushing the toilet is very important. Sharing really is caring. And hitting people is probably not the best way to deal with the situation. But most importantly, elementary taught me that friendship doesn't have to be complicated, and that sticking with your friends is always a good idea. Even when you have to move up to, drum roll please. Drum roll. Okay, that failed. Middle school. Middle school. Most of us would just like to forget about it. Our bodies were out of control. Our faces looked like dot-to-dot puzzles. And let's not fail to mention the lack of hygiene. In one word, middle school can be summed up as, well, awkward. But together, we survived those insanely gross puberty videos. First crushes, and painful growth spurts. Our teachers drilled into our feeble little brains that middle school was meant to be a time of preparation for high school. But there are some things that simply cannot be taught, only experienced. So high school came along, and we lived the teenage years. Somehow, we managed to roll out of bed every morning and do our homework. Well, okay, let's be honest, not do our homework. Loved our class, hated it, and somehow managed to pass that grade and move on to the next one, only to repeat the cycle 3 more times. We were living young and wild and free. We were pretty much as free as a bird. Although sometimes we were rolling in the deep, we told ourselves that we had 86 400 seconds in the day to turn it all around or throw it all away. Our teachers and parents would sometimes ask us what we were doing with our lives. And you know what we answered? YOLO, because we don't need no education. We were born this way. Class of 2014, your presence here today proves that even if you've had betas or have stood at the edge of glory, you have mastered to some degree the human capacity to refine, to improve, and to hold on to anything that makes you who you are. You have mastered responsibility, patience, diligence, and truth, and you now know what it takes to make it or break it. Now that we are on the brink of childhood and looking into the fishbowl that is adulthood, We should take a moment to thank our teachers for dedicating their lives to giving us the best education possible. Without them, we wouldn't be sitting here today. One of the greatest thinkers in recent history, Mr. Albert Einstein, once stated this about education. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. So, from learning to flush the toilet in elementary school to learning to walk with your friend, to learning to walk, to learn to stick with your friends through awkward periods of growth in middle school. Our education reaches to places far greater than numbers in history. Class of 2014, your whole life is ahead of you. You are made to do great things with your life. This is your time, your life. Live it to its greatest capacity. Because when I come back to our 25th year reunion with an Oscar in my hand, I'm gonna want to hear crazy stories about how you went swimming with sharks or discovered a new bacteria. And having known each and every one of you for over 4 years now, I can say that within each of you is the capability to do great things. Guys, graduation is meant to be a celebration of the life that awaits us, not a funeral for our childhood. Just because our secondary education has come to a stop, that doesn't mean that we can. Graduates, we can't stop, and we won't stop. One could say that we started from the bottom, and now we're here. So, from matching lunchbox and backpack ensembles to currently rocking these mortarboards and cat toy things on top of our heads, we will forever and always be scissors. In closing, I would like to remind my fellow graduates that tonight we're young, so let's set the world on fire. And that no matter what is to come in the days ahead, we are all in this together. But first, let me take a selfie.